Hello, my name is Lars Silberbauer. I'm a global leader of digital business transformation, and throughout my career I've been very fortunate to have been working with some of the world's leading brands. I spent a long time at Lego, where I was building the digital landscape there. I've also been at Viacom, MTV, and a lot of different other companies. I've also been able to work professionally and collaborating with some of the biggest tech platforms that are out there. In the next 15 minutes, I hope to give you my point of view on what's going to happen and what's happening right now with marketing and branding during COVID-19. But just before we jump in here, if you want to follow me, I'm on all social media networks at Lars Silberbauer, and also please check out my website, larssilberbauer.com. But let's jump in and take the first topic here. Behavioral changes, what do we see? We've been locked down and isolated in our apartments, houses, wherever we might have been. So of course the immediate impact of this is that all media that is related to a physical presence is of course down. That is magazines, that is newspapers, anything you need to pick up physically is of course doesn't have the same readership as it used to be. What's interesting here is of course we are staying indoor, we're watching more television, but at the same time big advertisers have pulled millions and millions of dollars from the advertising budgets. So even though people are watching more television and the inventory should actually be increasing, then we see all of the big TV networks are actually losing a lot of advertising dollars at the moment. So of course there's been a huge growth, and we've seen huge numbers from both Netflix and Disney Plus, YouTube. Like they had to decrease the bandwidth just to make sure that they could actually keep up with delivering huge amounts of video. And finally, when people are actually stationary, they prefer a visual experience and not just an audio experience. When things are getting back to normal, and to that level that things are getting back to normal, depending whether we're going to work a lot more from home or not, then the audio numbers will pick up again. So I think it's not something that's going to impact these businesses tremendously, but of course it is interesting to see that people have gone from listening to music on Spotify to go to listen to it on Twitch, and we've also seen Fortnite coming out with great music experience and really integrated experiences that have been amazing to follow. So that is just like the top line behavioral aspect of it, how things have changed. If we look at the consumer sentiments, and if consumers actually want to spend money and what they're concerned about and what they're spending on and what they're not spending on, then we see some interesting differences between the regions, but also we see something that of course is confirming what we all know from our daily life. People have stopped spending or really declined the spend on luxury items. What people have increased spending on is naturally groceries. And of course they've also gone from traveling far to get groceries to actually shop locally and shop online. If we look into the numbers in Asia and especially China, then we can see that people are actually more positive about how much money they want to spend and they expect to be spending after COVID-19 or during COVID-19. And we can see that the Chinese consumer are actually way more positive when it comes to spend than it is with the European or the American consumer. And that is interesting because we also have seen China coming quicker out of the COVID-19 isolation, because it started there and they're recovering faster, and they've been able to shut down things pretty effectively. So the economy there is already up and running. We can see traffic jams. Some of my friends have sent me pictures from traffic jams in Beijing again. I don't know if that's a good thing, but definitely the economy is getting back at a faster degree than we see in the rest of the world. So that's quite interesting to me as well. So if we look at what are what is the most important things that we can do right now as marketeers and as business people? Well, digital direct to consumer is of course key. it cannot be overstated how important it is. Not just to have e-com, yeah, we have an e-commerce site somewhere. No, but this is definitely the key to the moment right now, but also to the future. If you're in a direct-to-consumer business and you don't have a fully functioning digital funnel, then you have a big issue. And I think a lot of companies have had like, oh, we have bricks and mortar, we have our retail, but now they need to go direct to consumer, and they need to do it fast, and they need to not just make the consumer able to purchase things. That's the least thing you need to do. But you also need to make sure that you can create a branding experience that will last. So I think that's critical for everyone right now. I also think that it's important. I know that it's a struggle and it's a challenge with consumer service centers, because a lot of people together in a consumer service centers, they are sitting close to each other. It's not the most ideal scenario for a working environment during COVID-19. But if you can solve those issues, then consumer service and great consumer service, that builds brand loyalty for the long run. If you experience during a crisis, if you experience a company that is actually able to help you and is going that extra mile, then it's clearly something that you will feel, and that you will remember, and that you will tell other people, and that it also will bring you back to that brand, because you know that they were there when everyone else wasn't. So this is actually a time where brand can excel, and brands can really show how good they are to actually understand their consumer. And then finally, because we see a more positive consumer sentiment in Asia and China, if your business is in some way able or have products, have offerings that are relevant to the Asian market, definitely go there first, because that is where you're going to find early growth, and that's also where I see the future is going to lie when it comes to a lot of the restarting of the world economy. If we look then at post-COVID-19, I hope I'm wrong, but I do not think there's going to be a moment where we can say this is mission accomplished. It's over, and now we can just move on. I don't think that that's going to happen. I think we're going to be for a long time in kind of an eternal task force mode. I think what we also need to look at, as mentioned, like the whole funnel, awareness, interest, desire, action, or how you define your funnel, you need to establish that as 100% digital experience. And that will be the core. Hopefully we can open physical touch points to the brands later on, or we can brand delivery services, or we can brand whatever. But as a core, we need to ensure that we have the whole funnel as a digital experience leading to purchase. What's also going to happen, and what COVID-19 is definitely the driver of, is digital transformation across all companies. But a lot of companies, more traditional companies, have seen digital transformation as something that they could do down the road, a transformational project that's going to last the next 10 years. But now it has moved to the top of the corporate agenda and the company agenda, because this is so critical. They need to do it. They need to do it now. So it has accelerated in all kinds of ways the transformation that we see in the digital landscape. Final words from me. Long-term perspective, I think it's going to be extremely challenging. I think it's going to be a completely new environment for a lot of companies. So I think now everyone is running a startup. Like, we might have different starting points, but we have not been in these situations before. There is no one who has 25 years of experience in running companies during pandemics. So for all of us, we're back to scratch, running a startup, trying things out, test and learn, see what works for our company, our brand, and figuring out how to do this the best way possible. And to do a thing like that is a lot about building agility into the core of your organization and your business. The companies that are going to come out of this, that's going to win during this crisis and in the years to come, are the companies that are focusing on handling change and disruption. If they build that as a core competency in the company, then they'll be ready to face COVID-25 or climate changes, climate challenges, whatever huge disruption that we'll be facing in the future, those companies that know what to do, how to handle change, and how to leverage change to the benefit of the companies, those are the companies that definitely are going to win.